Hey everybody, Juan Ortega here, your business coach, and here is your business tip of the week. So here's a picture of a iron bar, and interesting little facts here for you. A bar of iron costs $5. If you make it into horseshoes, then it's worth $12. If they're made into needles, the worth jumps up to $3,500. However, if it's used as balance springs for watches, the worth jumps up again to a staggering $300,000. So this was interesting. I love this and kind of thought about it for quite some time. And I pulled some pretty interesting lessons from this and wanted to share those with you. So the first thing is our value and self-worth is completely determined by what we are able to make of ourselves. Essentially, I think that we are all iron bars when we're born. We all start off the same, but as you know, everybody's lives takes a certain different unique path. Some of those paths are of great success and accomplishment, and the path that other people choose and take for their life is quite the opposite from that. So it's really determined by our own perceived value, self-worth, and what we make of ourselves. The second lesson that I pulled from this is how we see ourselves and how we see our life shaping up is ultimately what matters most. So, do you see yourself as just an iron bar? Do you see yourself as a horseshoe? Do you see yourself as a needle? Or do you see yourself as a balance spring? Right? So, ultimately, what we believe we are worth, how we view ourselves, our own personal identity, what we think life should be like, and what we expect to happen really shapes our destiny, our future, our reality, right? So how you see yourself is really, really important in what you're striving to become, right? So if you're just striving to become an iron bar, that's perhaps what you're going to end up being. Here's the third lesson I pulled from this is that you have to work on yourself. It doesn't just happen by chance. So in other words, this is not just, you don't just turn into a horseshoe, a needle, or a balance spring if you're an iron bar, right? Like you gotta hammer it, you gotta chisel it, you gotta melt it down, you gotta sculpt it. And the more talent and skill, the higher the value. So if you notice that, the lowest value was when it was just basically a block, an iron bar. And the more skill that was required to shape that iron, the value went up. So when it became a horseshoe, it was worth more, right? Because there's more talent and skill that is needed in order to turn that bar into a horseshoe, right? But then there's definitely more talent and skill needed to break that down into tiny little pieces that are the needles. And then when we're talking about balance springs, it takes even more talent and skill. So talent and skill will raise your own personal value. And of course, that comes from education and knowledge. And the fourth thing that I got from this is that we are worth more when we are made into many versus just one. Diversify, expand, and take a chance. And essentially, what I meant by that is like when it was just one thing, right? It was kind of had its own value. But when we broke that down into smaller little pieces and we could sell more of it, then all of a sudden it was worth more. And we can kind of look at even celebrities and even athletes. If you think of Tiger Woods, I mean, he could have lived a very good life just from the income that he was getting from playing golf. But how they really expand and multiply their net worth and their income is all of a sudden all these endorsement deals with Nike and with Gatorade, right? So they even expand and diversify. So all of a sudden, someone who was just a golf player, a really good one, also expands and diversifies, and all of a sudden is able to multiply their income. So, guys, that's your lesson about the iron bar and some of the things that I pulled away from this little lesson. What do you get out of this? And what are you shaping yourself to be? So again, Juan Ortega, your business coach, the business tip of the week. Thanks for watching.